Media mogul Rupert Murdoch faces a deposition in the British Parliament on July the 19th, 2011.
I would just like to say one sentence. This is the most humble day of my life.
The 168-year-old British tabloid News of the World, once owned by him and recently closed, has been caught hacking into telephone lines for gathering information.
I was appalled to find out what had happened. And I apologize.
The Indian news media picked up the story. Every news channel went out of its way to showcase the criminal depths to which journalistic ethics had fallen.
The world's most powerful media mogul is being interrogated literally in the gaze of the entire universe.
Is this the hubris of one man? Is it a larger issue on media ethics?
For anyone interested in the business and ethics of news, this has been a remarkable week.
A scandal that has left the United Kingdom shaken at the way its national media works.
And if you ask me, Rajdeep, Rupert Murdoch was lying through his teeth.
This spurt of enthusiasm by the Indian media for the unacceptable behaviour of some British journalists was curious, especially when considered in the light of its own credibility, which has been questionable for some time.
It's raised fundamental questions that go to the core of journalism as well as media ownership.
April the 1st, 2010. It's Judgment Day. A report is awaited. And the stakes are high. On one side is the Indian press, targeted for corruption.
Editors in respectable houses have now become fixers.
It is alleged that both the print and electronic media are neck deep into the business of paid news.
Temptations are greater, money is greater, seductions are greater.
Paid advertisements are published and broadcast in the guise of news.
Every single aspect of news we think is up for sale.
On the other side is a two-member committee set up by the Press Council of India. The committee has investigated all the allegations and is ready with its report. The fourth pillar of Indian democracy is on tenterhooks.
The fourth pillar of democracy should not become the fifth column of democracy.
This film explores the murky underworld of paid news.
There is corruption by omission.
Of journalism where money speaks.
A sports page looks like say a Stardust page.
We find out how and when the business of news replaced news.
They make money to make you. They make money by breaking you.
We investigate the dark secrets behind what's termed breaking news.
Media is a circus.
In April 2011, 4 states and 1 union territory elected their governments. A vast polling exercise involving over 150 million voters. The Election Commission of India had to issue more than 200 notices to politicians and their parties for planting campaigns in the garb of news. In October 2010, there were assembly elections in Bihar, the third most populous state in India. More than 100 notices were issued by the Election Commission to paid news offenders.
Most of them admitted that it was paid news and decided to account for it in this statement. But we feel that is not the end of the matter, because it is not just a question of accounting for the expenses, but there is also an element of deception.
In October 2009, Maharashtra went to the polls. Politicians were living on the edge. Positive media coverage was vital. the stakes were extremely high. A media house had a business proposal. Up for sale was news space. 20 lakh rupees or 40,000 US dollars for 15 days of general coverage. 15 lakh rupees or 30,000 US dollars for 10 days. For exclusive coverage, the rates were higher. 25 lakhs or 50,000 US dollars for 7 days. 22 lakhs or 44,000 US dollars for 4 days. And for a fixed price, exclusive interviews were assured. There was also a flexi-pay offer, 50% cash and the rest by cheque, or 100% in cash. If this sounds like fiction, look at the bare facts. Ashok Chavan wants to be re-elected and wants to continue as Chief Minister. 72 hours before polling began, 2 news articles appeared in 2 rival dailies of Maharashtra, Lokmat and Maharashtra Times. The articles in both newspapers were identical, and both paid glowing tributes to Ashok Chavan. 3 days before, the same article had appeared in another Marathi paper, Pudhari. The same article with 3 different bylines. Was it a case of 3 minds thinking alike? When, in April 2009, the Assembly and Lok Sabha elections were held simultaneously, P.K. Ramarao, a candidate from the Lok Satta party, was promised positive media coverage in lieu of payment.
I gave the money to the sales, to the advertising agent of Inadu on 9th April. About 50,000 rupees I gave in cash. He did not give any acknowledgement or any receipt. He wanted the money to be paid in cash only.
P.K. Ramarao took care to include the sum he paid as part of his election expenses, in a declaration now mandatory according to Election Commission rules.
After the money was paid and then after the management was satisfied, after I struck a deal with the newspaper, then my coverage got improved. Almost I got a half-page coverage, and then I was interviewed. See, all this is self-evident. It is self-explanatory.
The case was taken to the Andhra High Court, where it is still pending.
As a newspaper or a channel, especially in the interior areas, mufassal areas, are identified with a particular party or a particular candidate. Now that paper or that channel will then start airing all kinds of accusations against their rivals. And then the paper or the channel goes to the rivals and says, look, this is what this guy is saying about you. He's saying you're this, you're that. Now what do you do? So they say, well, if you want space on our channel, this is how much it will cost you.
Congress is ready to create history in Bihar, screamed a banner headline in the Patna edition of Hindustan in April 2009, when the first phase of polling began in Bihar. There was no news item related to the headline, far less an explanation of how Congress intended to create history in Bihar.
Whistle was blown when some papers made more money and some made less. So those who made less money then started whispering among themselves about how some others were making a lot of money. And then, of course, the English media picked on it and made it an exclusively vernacular issue, which is also not correct. Vernaculars have the largest reach and therefore they were very visible. But major English language dailies have been smoking a peace pipe with corporates and also with major political parties for a long time.
Take the case of MediaNet, a Times of India initiative that began at the turn of the millennium.
First, you want to cover celebrities, then celebrities want to be covered and like being covered. Then they're told, okay, you like being covered, now pay to be covered. I mean, that's what the Times Group did. They said, why are we carrying so much PR stuff? Let's get them to pay for it. And that's how you had this company called MediaNet that was created.
What started with page 3 has now spread to other pages. The regional media has followed the trend set by the national media. Forward-looking politicians are taking it to the next level. They are no longer interested in buying media, they much prefer ownership. Down south, everyone worth their political salt owns a TV channel. Karunanidhi's nephew, Kalanidhi Maran, owns Sun TV. Karunanidhi's family also owns Kalanyar TV. AIDMK Supremo Jayalalita runs Jaya TV. Actor-turned-politician Vijay Kant runs Captain TV. Congress leaders run Megha TV and Basanta TV. PMK runs Makkal TV. Sakshi TV and the Sakshi newspaper belong to Jagan Reddy. Telugu Desham Supremo Chandrababu's son is the CEO of Studio N channel. The Inadu Group allegedly has loyalties towards the Telugu Desham. Telangana Rashtra Samiti has launched its own TV channel, T News. H.D. Kumaraswamy has his own TV channel, Kasturi. The Reddy brothers of Bellary fame have their own channel, Janshri. CPIM-backed Malayalam Communications runs 3 TV channels. Congress has Jai Hind Television. M.K. Munir of the Muslim League runs India Vision TV.
If you go to Nagaland, the Chief Minister is associated with a newspaper. If you go to the Northeast, there's a channel called News Live, which is owned by a political family in Assam. So there are more and more examples. In Orissa, a lot of newspapers have political affiliations.
1999, Manu Sharma, son of a billionaire politician, shot Jessica Lal because she refused him a drink. After years of a long trial, Manu Sharma was sentenced to life imprisonment. In 2008, the Sharma family launched media companies.
There are other reasons for getting into the media without wanting to be in the media, and those reasons, which are that people want political power, they think that if you have media you can persuade politicians, you can blackmail people, etc., all the wrong reasons.
India News was a weekly launched by the Sharmas. Sudhir Saxena edited India News. In less than 3 years, the publication became popular in Jharkhand, Bihar, and eastern UP. But the weekly's popularity wasn't enough.
प्रबंधन की ओर से लगातार ये दबाव बनाया गया कि मैं पत्रिका को ब्रेक इवन में लाने के लिए विज्ञापनों के रूप में मैनेजमेंट को सहयोग दूं, और बाद में तो बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से कहा गया कि आप प्रति माह लगभग 5 लाख रुपए के विज्ञापन लाके मुझे दें ताकि पत्रिका ब्रेक इवन में आए, अन्यथा पत्रिका को बंद किया जा सकता है.
Sudhir Saxena was not prepared to play ball.
एक संपादक का विज्ञापन प्रभारी या विज्ञापन के प्रतिनिधि के तौर पर अवमूल्यन मुझे कतई स्वीकार्य नहीं था. इसीलिए अंततः मैंने बाध्य होकर 30 मार्च सन 2010 को वहां से इस्तीफा दिया.
Editors such as Sudhir Saxena, willing to stand up to the management or an owner, is a species fast on its way to extinction.
you control the editor and you virtually control the paper. And so I keep hearing from younger people how editors in respectable houses have now become fixers, in that they actually travel location to location, meet up with the local government officials and solicit Department of Audiovisual Publicity, DAVP advertising, and make sure that it is in substantial amounts, and 3/4 of their work, when they are not working as editors, goes in chasing these. And in this, the stringers are great help to them. Then the MLA's champu comes in handy. फिर वो MLA साहब से कहेगा कि सर जी ये अपने संपादक जी आपसे मिलना चाहते हैं, 2 मिनट के लिए इनको चाय पिला दीजिएगा. इनबॉक्स संपादक जी, MLA विल से कि ये लड़का कह रहा था कि आपके यहाँ सब एडिटर की जगह खाली हो रही हैं, क्या इसका कुछ हो सकता? हाँ जी ज़रूर देख लेंगे. वो ज़रा सा DAVP ऐड की बात थी. हाँ हाँ सर जी हम देख लेंगे.
Kurukshetra, a town in North India, is where the epic battle of the Mahabharata was fought. Here we met Rakesh Sharma, who has taken up arms against all the powerful news media.
हम पैसा लेकर खबर छापते ही नहीं, हम पैसा लेकर खबर रोकते भी हैं.
From 2002 to 2010, Rakesh was a correspondent with India's leading vernacular daily, Dainik Jagran. During his stint with this paper, Rakesh covered 2 parliamentary and 2 assembly elections. Like most journalists today, especially those in the more remote parts of India, Rakesh's job was not restricted to merely being a reporter.
कायदा हमें ये टारगेट दिया गया था कि आपको इतने पैसे का चुनावी समाचार लेके आना है, चाहे वो आप विज्ञापन के समझ में उसमें लेके आएं या चाहे आप उसका समाचार छापिए, कि आपको इतने पैसे का अरेंज करना है. मेन वाइली ये कि जो हमें सैलरी दी जा रही है उसका 10 गुना तो हमें वापस संस्थान को करना ही करना है, तब भी तो हम नौकरी कर पाएंगे. अदरवाइज बहुत मुश्किल है, सर्वाइव करना बहुत लंबी लाइन है.
Rakesh had no option but to follow the management's diktat.
इलेक्शन का दौर चल पड़ा, नामांकन हो गया, तो हम लोगों ने उनके खिलाफ बिल्कुल छांट कर ऐसी खबरें लिखी कि जिससे उनको डायरेक्ट डैमेज हो. तो किया, उनको ब्लैकमेल किया. मैनेजमेंट की तरफ से तो दबाव यही था कि आप पैसा इकट्ठा कीजिए, जो नहीं देता उसका कान मरोड़ें, जो जितना भी निचोड़ सके आप किसी भी शाम दाम दंड भेद की नीति से जितना भी आप निचोड़ लें, कोई उसमें पैकेज नहीं चले कि जिसने जो दे दिया लास्ट में, तो जब इलेक्शन में 5-7 दिन वो रह गए कि यार ये तो मामला कुछ नहीं बन पा रहा है, तो तब तो ये था कि यार जो आए जितना देता है दे दो. पैसा इकट्ठा हुआ, कंपनी के अकाउंट में नहीं गया, मालिक उसको भी घर ले गए. ये शेयर होल्डर्स के साथ सबसे बड़ी बेईमानी थी.
Deeply disturbed, Rakesh resigned in 2010 and began to gather evidence against his former employer.
दो लोगों के विज्ञापन गए हैं 8x8 के इनसाइड पेज.
मतलब वो
खबरें थी. मैं इवन आपको फाइल नंबर बता देता हूँ. 7i मेरे लॉगिन से 7i फाइल थी, 5c फाइल थी. ऐसे ही 22 तारीख को ये 3b फाइल, 7i फाइल, 17/8 बैक पेज 19,176. और ये दूसरे पार्टी का पॉलिटिशियंस का तो मैं क्या नाम लूँ, ये बेचारे ये तो खुद ब्लैकमेल हो रहे थे. 7i फाइल गई है 8x8 में, बैक पेज में छपा है. इससे ज़्यादा चुनाव आयोग को मैं कहता हूँ, मैं आपको ये डिटेल दे रहा हूँ, चुनाव आयोग को ये डिटेल दे रहा हूँ, प्रेस काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया को ये डिटेल दे रहा हूँ. मैं अपनी तरफ से पेपर प्रोड्यूस नहीं करता, मेरे पास हैं, मैं वो पेपर निकलवा दूंगा. आप अखबार के मालिकों से मांगिए ना कि आप इस तारीख के पेपर ला के दिए, आप उनसे पता करें कि इन पार्टियों का विज्ञापन छपा है, ये पेड न्यूज छपी है या नहीं छपी.
This is the story of one edition. Dainik Jagran has 37 editions spread across 11 states in India.
कहना नहीं चाहूंगा, ऐसे लोग देखे हैं कि मालिक को देख के जब वो पैसे की और इसकी बात होती थी, उन लोगों का इतना कहते हुए भी मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा कि क्या कहूँ उन लोगों का, क्या हालात होती थी उनकी, कि उनसे अच्छा तो कि साला एक गली में बैठे हुए आप अपने घर के सामने बैठे हुए कुत्ते को लात मारोगे, वो कूं करके आपको भौंकेगा। तो उनको तो जितनी मर्जी लाते मार लो, भौंकने वाले क्या बोलने वाले भी नहीं है ये लोग, सिर्फ तगमा लगा रखा है, बने हम एडिटर हैं, हम ये हैं।
Rakesh has written to the President of India, the Election Commission, the Press Council, and to the Securities and Exchange Board of India on the practice of paid news in Dainik Jagran. In July 2010, he uploaded on the internet some of the evidence against Dainik Jagran. No response from any quarter yet, but Rakesh continues to fight his personal Mahabharat against his own kith and kin.
मेरी लड़ाई सिर्फ एक दैनिक जागरण के लिए नहीं है, ये एक व्यवस्था, एक सिस्टम जो बन गया है उसके खिलाफ लड़ाई है। अब दैनिक जागरण को तो आप इसलिए, मेरे नज़रिए से तो दैनिक जागरण इसलिए इसमें वो आ गया क्योंकि मेरे पास डॉक्यूमेंट ही दैनिक जागरण के। इसके अलावा दूसरे अखबार हैं, मुझे नाम लेने में कोई हिच नहीं है। भास्कर है, उसने भी ऐसे ही छापा है, पंजाब केसरी ने छापा है, हिंदुस्तान ने छापा है।
If politics and media can scratch each other's backs, can corporate India be far behind? Bennett Coleman and Company, or BCCL, publishers of the Times of India and the Economic Times, has facilitated the process by setting up Times Private Treaties that has now been renamed Brand Capital. The deal is that the Times Group will give newspapers space in lieu of equity shares. Today, their portfolio includes over 300 companies. No wonder Brand Capital is a business model that has lured a large number of other media houses. In a clear case of conflict of interest, newspapers and TV channels have become partners in companies they're supposed to report on. For instance, the Anil Ambani Group that promotes Reliance Capital has investments in Network 18 that operates CNN IBN, IBN 7 and CNBC TV 18. The TV Today Group, which operates Aaj Tak and Headlines Today. UTV Bloomberg, the business news channel. The Anil Ambani Group also runs a mutual fund called the Media and Entertainment Fund. Its top 10 holdings include the Sun TV Network, Jagran Prakashan, and HD Media or Hindustan Times Media.
The role of corporate houses and their ability to control the media needs to be looked at very seriously. Yes, if a corporate house has a very large stake in a media company, naturally the corporate house is not necessarily doing it for journalistic purposes and will thereby exert certain control over the media house.
You know, there's so many multiple ways in which today business is negotiating and in bed with media houses, as in media ownership. And I don't think there is any independence anymore. Every story is evaluated by whether it hurts our business interest first, or then second, whether it hurts any of our big advertisers.
The stock market represents the aspirations of a growing economy. No wonder every news platform offers stock-specific programs. The bonus comes in the form of free advice to the investor.
Welcome to D Street ka dawn, dosto.
Sit back and enjoy your money.
Stock 2020.
हमें है आपके पैसों का ख्याल.
Let me give you a couple of names that you should look at. Large cap fund, she said 60%. Please look at DSP BlackRock Top 100. You can also look at Franklin India Blue Chip, Kotak 30 and IDFC Imperial Equity Plan.
आज की कंपनी एक बहुत ही उम्दा बेट है.
Take this advice at your own risk, says the Ministry of Corporate Affairs.
आज फिर कहता हूँ, जमशेदपुर में रह के you must buy Tata Steel. और इसके अलावा आपके पास कोई चॉइस नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं आपको बड़ी अच्छी चॉइस दे रहा हूं.
In July 2010, the ministry published a guide to the capital market. It cautioned investors to beware of the media, especially the stock-specific advice given on the electronic media. It warned that in reality, many of these advisors have vested interests. It warned people not to get carried away with news reports about the financial performance of companies. Yet companies use every trick in the trade to sustain high share values in order to retain their worth in the capital market, and the media appears to be more than happy to be a willing partner. On June the 18th, 2010, Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries was holding its AGM. The media was abuzz with speculation that his estranged brother, Anil, might attend the AGM and broker a reconciliation. The speculation turned out to be no more than speculation. Anil Ambani did not attend.
Where did it come from? And why did it spread like wildfire? You think it was I don't think he had any intention of attending it. And I think it just was done to push up share prices. Did everyone fall for it? Do we not verify? Or was someone, saying, confirming it to them privately? I don't know. But isn't it something that someone needs to analyze very seriously?
As a matter of fact, Anil Ambani's Reliance Communications has been the subject of the most extraordinary merger speculations in the media. It began with rumours that the South African telecom giant MTN were ready to talk to RCom. MTN officially denied this on June the 3rd, 2010. By then, someone had already started fresh rumours that now AT&T was keen on RCom, and that talks had already begun. AT&T denied this on June the 7th, 2010. Up next was the Abu Dhabi-based Etisalat. Etisalat clarified that it was considering several options, RCom being only one of them.
When one of the largest economic newspapers for 3 days in a row talks about one of these Ambani companies tying up with 3 global telecom majors, all of whom issue denials, I think there has to be an investigation into where did they get their stories from. And isn't there a pattern in this? Very evidently there is. Question is, okay, I write about it, but do we have a system where it is going to be investigated? No.
Business journalism versus political journalism. The debate is not about which is corrupt and which is honest. Rather, the debate revolves around the subject of which is the more corrupt.
It is hardly a secret to say that business journalism is perhaps the most corrupt part of Indian journalism.
There is far less corruption in business journalism than there is in political journalism.
There's so much more money riding on business journalism.
The political journalists, because of their closeness to the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister, are getting a house in Bombay out of the Chief Minister's quota, and all of them very easily used to do it. Only they got the houses, right? And how many of them? What is the value? Why doesn't anyone talk about it?
When I was the Editors Guild president, we had formulated a code for business journalists alone, but that is flouted. But I think there is much more awareness that business journalists are much more vulnerable to these kind of bribes, etc., because the stakes are much higher.
I started as a business journalist where, those days it was clocks and casseroles and, tea sets that were being given out to journalists. And there were these embarrassing things about senior people who are, your editors, tucking 3 of them under their arm and getting out of 3 press conferences, all held in the Taj.
The temptations and the seductions that are offered to journalists have magnified tenfold because the stakes have become much bigger. So, the bribing of journalists, as it were, was done on a somewhat smaller scale before because the stakes were not so high.
How many people have gone to the Rajya Sabha? Are they business journalists? Count them. They're not. They're political journalists. And when they become editors, their entire focus is to get, whether it is the awards or then land up in parliament. How many of them have become full-time politicians? They were all journalists. So were they ever fair? How did they build up this rapport? Unless they were so close and projecting a certain ideology or whatever, they wouldn't have been absorbed at the senior-most levels in political parties.
When journalists have ambitions that go beyond journalism, when they have political ambitions, when they want to become members of parliament, or when they want to be power brokers, that worries me, and that in a sense reduces the credibility of this profession even further.
Big money rides on films. Big money calls for big publicity. The media is in no mood to let go of this opportunity.
Today, a film can bomb, but if you have deep pockets, you can buy space in the leading newspapers, go to television networks, and give a perception that it has worked.
I'm not really sure anybody is that bothered with ethics anymore.
Creating a noise, buying reviewers, who are today the reviewers' credibility is at an all-time low.
What lofty ideals can there be about reviewing Bollywood films? Absolutely none.
I don't believe in the kind of reviews they're doing. It's raining stars all over the reviews.
There are evidences of reviewers selling themselves and giving you the rating that you choose to get. And those ratings are flashed on the hoardings and flashed in the newspapers as evidence of the product being first rate.
The buzz begins before the film is released, as if on cue. Controversies spring out of nowhere.
Karan Johar, director Renzel De Silva, actors Kareena Kapoor and Saif Ali Khan.
करण जौहर की एक और फिल्म पर हंगामा शुरू हो गया है.
Film stars make appearances over primetime news.
Qurban, a film set against a theme that perhaps we don't talk about often enough: terrorism and the Muslim identity.
Issues related to the film are discussed by credible news anchors in all seriousness.
You were finding it hard to defend that behind every detonator there was a Muslim.
That's right. Everything is a deal. Money has been exchanged. Today, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
Just before the release of the film Three Idiots, Vidhu Vinod Chopra had a much publicized breaking news spat over credits with writer Chetan Bhagat.
No, I'm asking you, have you read the book? No, you have not read the book. No, you have, so shut up.
उन्होंने क्यों बोला ये मीडिया में जाके कि ये फिल्म बिल्कुल अलग है?
Amir Khan travelled incognito across the nation. With TV cameras in tow.
दोस्तों, आज मैं यहाँ आया हूँ तमिलनाडु.
आमिर खान को बुखार की.
Now I am on the road. आपने टीवी में देखा? सड़क पर चलते हुए ये चेहरा दिख जाए तो क्या पहली नजर में?
That's film journalism for you.
I don't think anybody respects it. If it was ever respected, it was always seen as a kind of pretty shallow offshoot of mainstream journalism.
We don't have the guts and the audacity to question these people who are peddling lies under the name of truth.
Welcome back to the news with me, Amitabh Bachchan, where I'm playing the guest editor today at CNN IBN.
To promote his film Rana, Amitabh Bachchan becomes a guest editor of CNN IBN.
We are very influenced by the media. It is in our face every day.
आज का स्पेशल हमारा देखते रहिए. लुट जाऊं, लुट जाऊं, लुट जाऊं.
What's wrong? There's absolutely nothing wrong.
It's a fantastic game.
If CNN IBN trades its editor for television ratings, how can Times Now be left behind?
Our team became #1 in Test cricket.
And then comes Star News. And so the circus continues.
अमित जी, आपको मैं वर्चुअल सेट पर लेकर चल रहा हूँ. ये सेट कंप्यूटर की मदद से बनाया जाता है. और आपको यहाँ पर सिर्फ ग्रीन दिखाई देगा. लेकिन जब आप देखेंगे इसको सेट पे, तो इसमें आपका रन का वो सेट नजर आ जाएगा, जिसको हमने एक ग्राफिक्स रूम के अंदर देखा हुआ था। देखिए अब आईपीएल पे।
Yeah, because I'm behind the TV screen. So the TV screen is there.
ये जादू
है. It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
There has been a dramatic shift, certainly in the content of news. There is a greater tendency towards what you call infotainment today.
If everybody is going to be in the entertainment business, who is going to be giving us news? Because giving news is a very important social function.
Dhoni from Jharkhand. Hey, mind it. All you fast bowler rascals. I have the bat. Do you have the ball?
Cricket, the poster boy of a not-so-sports-crazy nation, and cricketers topped the charts in brand image building. So, negative reporting on cricketers with high advertising visibility becomes a tricky proposition.
I have known of instances where big corporates have threatened to withdraw ads from, say, television channels or from newspapers, saying that you have done an adverse reporting of ours, or you are not giving us enough promotion, or you are not giving our teams whom we are sponsoring, or players whom we are sponsoring enough exposure. You are being critical of some of the teams which we are supporting, so we won't give you ads. Not to crack under that pressure is very difficult. Either you give up or you become part of them.
The Indian Premier League, or IPL, is a sporting extravaganza that started with a big bang. With millions of dollars at stake, it continues to make very big sports news everywhere.
What Lalit Modi did, and he did it successfully, brilliantly. He made every person who was important in India a stakeholder in his venture.
So good luck.
What in effect did was that Gavaskar and Shastri were bought over, and they started saying that IPL is the greatest thing to have happened to the world.
The man whose brains helped conceptualize this fantastic property. He is the chairman and chief commissioner of the IPL, Mr. Lalit Modi.
Similarly, there were newspapers who realized or felt that since corporate world is involved, and they would promote their teams.
Here's a look at the music video shoot for the Mumbai Indians.
It was a different experience, but I enjoyed it. It was nice.
This advertising money, where will it go? It will go to print, it will go to television channels.
Today, the IPL is worth over $4.13 billion. IPL team owners had to recover their huge investments in order to keep their teams going.
Investments, everyone was aware, by every individual who have bought the teams are so huge that they are going to take another 5-6 years to recover that money.
$200,000 is $350,000, $450,000, $500,000, $600,000, $720,000, $730,000, $750,000 is big.
All we read in the papers, all we read saw on television channels was that how everyone is making profits, which wasn't true. Everyone wanted TRP ratings to grow, and since everyone was brought over, so we were fed on these lies.
Why blame the media for everything? Why are we shooting the messenger for, let's say, the IPL, for the darker side of the IPL suddenly being revealed?
The simple reason is that we weren't told because we were all part of that gravy train.
Negative publicity about any aspect of the IPL was not allowed. Slaughtering a cash cow while it's still producing milk is bad business.
The IPL parties, which became such a controversial issue. The television channel or the newspaper owners, they are aware of the fact that, look, this is putting stress on cricketers. They play one day, they party till morning, then they travel next day. These things were not written about.
Being a cricketer is a sportsman, so when you dress up, is it really a problem for you to look so suave?
I don't know about looking suave, but it's always fun to dress up. I think it's really important that we, always have a good time. But as I said, the guys are here tonight to enjoy themselves, and looking forward to the tournament coming up.
It's happening live. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and still going on.
The media, which had been going gaga over the IPL for 3 years, suddenly did a somersault.
A day after the Times Now exclusive report on Modi's 4 scams on the News Hour yesterday, the Enforcement Directorate is doing everything to drag him back to India and face the charges.
It's like you treat your readers or your viewers like a herd. You lead them in one direction till one day, and suddenly when actually you are getting exposed. Who got exposed also in this? The people who had not told their viewers. I am sure every reader has a right to ask those very newspapers or those very TV channels that for 3 years you told us a different story. Now all of a sudden you are taking a somersault and saying everything is wrong about this man or about this sport. Where were you for these 3 years?
The fact is that the entire BCCI knew what was happening. Why didn't they come out and speak up? Why there were franchise owners who are people who have listed companies who were involved. Why didn't they come and speak out? Why is it that the media is blamed when things go wrong?
The problem with sports reporting at the moment is that there is this nexus which is growing between the corporate, the marketing, and because of this nexus, sports reporting is well-meaning, but it's coming increasingly under pressure, increasingly being threatened, increasingly being shackled.
The decade that began with the rise of the questionable media net ended with the media's role in Radia Gate. It all started in 2009 when the Income Tax Department tapped a corporate lobbyist, Neera Radia's phone. The explosive content was leaked to the media. Skeletons began to fall out of many cupboards. In May 2009, election results brought the UPA back to power. The DMK was an ally. When it was time to slice the cabinet pie, Neera Radia negotiated for DMK aspirants including A. Raja and Karunanidhi's daughter Kanimoi.
Hi, Neera.
Hi, did I wake you up?
No, I've been up, most of the night. If stalemate continues,
Yeah, listen, the thing is that they need to talk to him directly. That's what the problem is.
Apparently now, the message from the other side is that why did Balu go public? Apparently PM's really pissed off that they went public.
But that's Balu's doing, na? He was not instructed by Karunanidhi to do that, actually.
He wasn't?
He was told to come away and tell Congress that.
And he went public, and this
well,
is
the
really
media was standing outside.
Oh God! So now what? What should I tell them? Tell me, what should I tell them?
I would like to see greater evidence of the political party having been approached, having been spoken to, having been influenced. If there is evidence of that, the journalist must be held accountable for that.
Neera.
Hi.
Now they're saying. We'll take whoever.
Whoever, matlab, it doesn't matter Maran or whoever, Balu or Raja or anything, na?
Now they're saying that.
But tell me one thing.
I've conveyed I've had a long chat. And they've promised me that Azad will speak to her.
They will speak to her?
Yeah.
Who? Gulam.
I don't think political reporting requires you to be a courier or a middleman between a Neera Radia and a political party.
In June 2009, the Bombay High Court passed a judgment on the gas dispute between the Ambani brothers. It directed Mukesh Ambani's Reliance Industries to honour an agreement signed with Anil Ambani's Reliance Natural Resources. The matter was soon to come up in the Supreme Court. Neera Radia was busy lobbying for client Mukesh Ambani. She called up Veer Sanghvi of the Hindustan Times. They discussed Veer's weekly column, Counterpoint, and the possibility of a piece by him on the dispute.
So I will link it to the election verdict. The fact that there's been so much NREGA, that Sonia has committed to including everybody, that how the message for this 5 years of Manmohan Singh should be that you have to put an end to this kind of allocation of scarce resources on the basis of corruption and arbitrariness at the cost of the country. Otherwise the country will not forgive you.
Yeah, but Veer, you have to keep in mind that the fact that he's been given the gas field by the government to operate, he spent $10 billion on it.
Okay.
Anil Ambani is getting the benefit of without spending a cent
So
on
I'll
it.
make those points. No?
Yeah.
So I'll make those points. The people, because the system is so corrupt and open to manipulation, by manipulating the system, by not paying anybody, you can get hands on resources. Therefore, the only way Manmohan Singh hopes to survive is to get a handle on the resources and have some kind of way of allocating them that is transparent, fair, and perhaps done by him.
But there you'd be attacking Mukesh only, no?
Why? Explain that.
You see, because resource has been allocated to Mukesh.
So what point do you want me to make?
नमस्कार, मैं हूं प्रभु चावला.
Prabhu Chawla, editor of India Today magazine, also provided Neera Radia with insider information.
Judgment was coming. I wanted to forewarn him.
हाँ, कि जजमेंट के खिलाफ आ रहा है.
हाँ, एरोगेंट है ना, उसको तो अब क्या करें, उसकी एरोगेंस दोनों भाइयों की समझ में नहीं आती मेरे को.
Prabhu, tell me one thing. Judgment is fixed, right?
देखो, in this country दोनों साइड में फिक्स करने की कैपेसिटी है.
हाँ.
But the way going about Supreme Court is not. I won't give you anything more than that. It's not the right way.
No, not the right way. Matlab, you're saying that he's going to Supreme Court. He shouldn't go to Supreme Court.
No. The way he's going to Supreme Court.
One after another, the skeletons kept tumbling out. Paid news at its sublime best, now exposed. The news media had no option but to try and come clean.
Indian journalism has faced its toughest crisis. Serious allegations of wrongdoing have been leveled against marquee editors.
All three journalists were given a platform to defend themselves on TV.
I wish to God this would never happen. If I could do it all again, I would obviously do it very differently. I had no idea when I was talking to a source that the process of massaging a source would be secretly tape recorded.
She was giving me useful information. When I look back with hindsight, with everything that one knows about her, I feel that I made an error of judgment. But I feel that that is the most that I can be accused of in this, because I actually did not pass on any message.
Yes, if you have an evidence, I am accountable to my viewers and readers. But if we go to the editorial role of every editor in this country, from M.J. Akbar, from Mr. Ram, from Mr. Veer Sanghvi, Mr. H.K. Dua, and whatever, you will find all of them advising role, exchanging dogs, and whatnot.
We hope this will answer the questions you have.
Based on the actions of a few. If there are a few people out of line, if there are a few people who have acted in a manner which is not appropriate for a journalist, inappropriate behavior, they must be held accountable for the same. But don't damn this entire profession.
Anything that might hurt the business interests of large media houses usually gets gagged before it's allowed to do any damage, like the much-awaited Press Council report. The two-member committee, set up by the Press Council, did submit its report.
There was no formal voting, only an informal show of hands. A thin majority of the members of the Press Council who were present on the 26th of July decided not to disclose the full 71-page report of the subcommittee, and instead that document has been placed on record as a reference document, though not on the website of the Press Council of India. And what was given was a 3,600-word report which took out largely the recommendations and the observations that had been made towards the end of the 36,000-word report.
The report recommended that news should be clearly demarcated from advertisements by printing disclaimers, that it should be mandatory for all candidates or political parties to fully disclose their equity stakes and or financial interests in newspaper and or television channels. It also recommended that media organizations should refrain from the practice of engaging stringers and correspondents who double up as agents collecting advertisements.
The report was scuttled by a handful of proprietors. The report was not scuttled by journalists. The Press Council of India's limitations have been exposed.
The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Information Technology has invited comments from stakeholders, professionals, experts, organizations, associations, and from the public in general on various aspects relating to paid news. Is this yet another effort designed to die a dusty death, like the Press Council report did? We don't know yet. Evidently, the debate on paid news has died down. But does that mean that the menace of paid news has ceased to exist? The Election Commission of India is now gearing up to deal with paid news.
Recently, we had a case from UP where a candidate was found exceeding the expenditure and not submitting the account as prescribed by the Election Commission, and also where it was proven that she had indulged in paid news. She was disqualified, and we feel that this should be a deterrent to future defaulters. We have recommended to the government that paid news should be declared an electoral offence and a criminal offence, which should carry a punishment of at least 2 years of imprisonment.
Meanwhile, Prabhu Chawla left India today and moved on from conducting Seedhi Baat on Aaj Tak TV channel to Sachi Baat on Inadu TV. He now conducts Tikhi Baat on IBN 7. Veer Sanghvi has a new designation befitting his stature. He is now Advisor, Hindustan Times Media. And of course, the buck continues to stop with Barkha Dutt on NDTV.
Good evening and welcome to The Buck Stops Here. I'm Barkha Dutt.
It seems that paid news is no longer a cancer in the system. It has taken over the whole system. The media is expected to carry news on social and political malpractice. In order to play this role of watchdog and carry out its duties as the fourth pillar of democracy, isn't it crucial that it first puts its own house in order? Now, that's one question that will never make it to the headlines. Media mogul Rupert Murdoch faces a deposition in the British Parliament on July the 19th, 2011.
I would just like to say one sentence. This is the most humble day of my life.
The 168-year-old British tabloid News of the World, once owned by him and recently closed, has been caught hacking into telephone lines for gathering information.
I was appalled to find out what had happened. And I apologize.
The Indian news media picked up the story.
its largest selling...
Every news channel went out of its way to showcase the criminal depths to which journalistic ethics had fallen.
The world's most powerful media mogul is being...
Cable houses have now become fixers.
It is alleged that both the print and electronic media are neck deep into the business of paid news.
Temptations are greater, money is greater, seductions are greater.
Paid advertisements are published and broadcast in the guise of news.
Every single aspect of news we think is up for sale.
On the other side is a two-member committee set up by the Press Council of India. The committee has investigated all the allegations and is ready with its report. The fourth pillar of Indian democracy is on tenterhooks.
The fourth pillar of democracy should not become the fifth column of democracy.
This film explores the murky underworld of paid news.
There is corruption by omission.
Of journalism where money speaks.
A sports page looks like say a Stardust page.
We find out how and when the business...
interrogated literally in the gaze of the entire universe.
Is this the hubris of one man? Is it a larger issue on media ethics?
For anyone interested in the business and ethics of news, this has been a remarkable week.
A scandal that has left the United Kingdom shaken at the way its national media works.
And if you ask me, Rajdeep, Rupert Murdoch was lying through his teeth.
This spurt of enthusiasm by the Indian media for the unacceptable behaviour of some British journalists was curious, especially when considered in the light of its own credibility, which has been questionable for some time.
It's raised fundamental questions that go to the core of journalism as well as media ownership.
April the 1st, 2010. It's Judgment Day. A report is awaited. And the stakes are high. On one side is the Indian press, targeted for corruption.
Editors, in respect...
News replaced news.
They make money to make you. They make money by breaking you.
We investigate the dark secrets behind what's termed breaking news.
Media is a circus.
In April 2011, 4 states and 1 union territory elected their governments. A vast polling exercise involving over 150 million voters. The Election Commission of India had to issue more than 200 notices to politicians and their parties for planting campaigns in the garb of news. In October 2010, there were assembly elections in Bihar, the third most populous state in India. More than 100 notices were issued by the Election Commission to paid news offenders.
Most of them admitted that it was paid news and decided to account for it in this statement. But we feel that is not the end of the matter, because it is not just a question of accounting for the expenses, but there is also an element of deception.
In October 2009, Maharashtra went to the polls. Politicians were living on the edge. Positive media coverage was vital. The stakes were extremely high.